is Andrew Tate good for the guys or not, in your opinion, and why?
I'd say absolutely not.
Okay. Well, why is that?
I think that the idea of masculinity and success and fulfillment that's being sold by a lot of people on the right, I think leads to the same type of spiritual wasteland that you're trying to like pull these young men out of, I would say. Like when I look at somebody like Andrew Tate, or even like for you guys, or and anybody that talks about red pill stuff, it always feels like your big markers for success are how many women can you get, how much money can you make, what kind of cars do you drive. And at the end of the day, I don't know how old you guys are, but like when I think back to the things I've had in my life, like I don't like remember the third, new iPhone I got. I don't remember like when I got my new car, like how it was cool for like a week, but like there are memories that you make with other people. There are things that you achieve or accomplish in your life. For me, maybe stuff related to music, maybe stuff related to gaming when I was in esports. Like these are the standout memories that I have, but I never hear anybody in like the red pill society building towards that. It always feels like they're building towards like the most hollowed existence that you possibly could have as a man that gets like signed off by mainstream consumer society.
You've applied that a lot to me, but I've never even really talked about that. And even if I do, I want the ability to buy those things. It's not those things are going to make me happy. I just want to have the power to not be restricted by anything.
Yeah, but I guess the argument that I always make is that if you spend all of your life trying to get the capability to have everything, right? Like a man who spends his whole life on the mission, once that mission is fulfilled, he has nothing. Because your whole life you've just spent trying to get stuff, right? And you haven't worked on building relationships, building friendships, accomplishing something real. Like the best type of advice you get from red pill is at least working out. As long as you're doing it for yourself and not to impress a chick, but like because building your body means something.
So
right?
you don't think we should tell people to get money?
I don't think that's that important. I think that there are like upgrades to your life you can make. If you're making $15,000 a year and you live with your mom and dad, yeah, you need to up your money, of course. But like if you've got a decent job, and I've seen this as a millennial, there's a lot of people from my generation who are sitting in their apartment making $140,000 a year doing work from home who fucking hate themselves. They have no friends except for the ones that they see light up on Discord. They have no hobbies except for the 4,000th game of League of Legends they play for the day. And they have like no fulfillment in their life. They have nothing. And then these are the types of people that go online like, how do I meet girls? How do I meet friends? Like, why is it that I've hit every big marker in my life, but I'm fucking miserable? And I think that void isn't being answered by anybody, I think, right now.
Would you admit, right, that life is about experiences?
Yeah, for sure.
So if I'm a guy living in this world today, wouldn't I want the best experience possible?
Absolutely.
So if I'm telling guys to be better and become better themselves and experience more things in life, I want to have the best in life. For example, nicest cars, nicest lifestyle, because that does breed experiences. Now, I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Most guys may not get to that marker and they may be miserable on the journey. But we're just saying, look, if you live on this earth right now, how do you improve? How do you become better? Because that is the only way you can actually have purpose in life, becoming better. I
agree with you, but we're almost begging the question. Having the best experiences, the best type of life. Mm-hmm. But what are those experiences? Like, I wish we had somebody older here who was like wealthy, but like I guarantee you, if you pull like a 40, 50, 60-year-old dude, I'm 33, I'm decently wealthy, millionaire before 35, I've like got my shit together, traveled the world. Yeah. When I think back about the things that mean the most to me, it's never the new expensive computer I got. It's never the new expensive car I got to drive. It's never like it's always going to be like the experiences I've had with other people, especially people I love. So like the experience I've had with my wife, ex-girlfriends, like never like the car that I drove or like the newest cell phone I have. Like it's the memories you make with other people, I think. And to some extent, money can help you do that. But to another extent, money can help you do that. I have my family on my mom's side all came from Cuba. And I watch my Cuban family is so divided. Yeah. On one end, I've got God bless them, I love them. My parents are amazing people. I love them. They love me. But oh my God, do they run the rat race? They're in a huge house. They're both on Social Security. My dad works full time. He collects disability and retirement from the Air Force, and they're going to work till they die. They've already got like one foot in the grave, or they're walking down working full time. And like, where's the happiness in that? Whereas if I look at the other part of my Cuban family, half these people live in Hialeah. They live in these dog shit apartments that flood. Yeah, every time it fucking rains, you've got cockroaches around. But man, every Friday, Saturday, they're having these huge parties. They're having barbecues. People are going over. They don't have expensive shit. Half these motherfuckers don't have phones, but they're all having fun times. They love each other. They're having like an amazing time every weekend. They've got friends, relationships. And I look at like both of these worlds and I'm like, fuck, like, well, who's winning at the end of the day? Because on one end, I see the American dream, which is chasing the houses, the money, the pools, the big lifestyle. lifestyle. And then on the other hand, I see like these like dumb Hispanic people, but like these guys are so much happier. We're like, what the fuck? And I think even you guys are clued into that to some extent, because I hear it in your rhetoric, and I know it's stripped down, this idea of like Western women and Western lifestyles. You know, they have it more figured out in these other parts of the world. And in these other parts of the world, they're not running the same race that we run in the West, where we're obsessed about getting like cars and houses and bitches.
So I'll just make one more point on this. So recently, right, I just bought a 2022 Rolls-Royce Continental truck, right?
Yeah, I saw the story, yeah.
Not to flex or anything, but like that experience there, you know what I'm gonna do? Everyone that I care about that watched me on the journey up, I'm taking it for a ride in it. And like my mom was like excited to come see it, whatever. I'm just saying, like, yes, you're right. Chasing things like material stuff is kind of dumb. However, when you understand why you're doing it, it makes sense. So for example, giving people you care about, your family, your mom, your dad, your son, whatever, giving those experiences will change your life. And also as well, let's say they get sick. My guy and I was sick a couple of years ago, right? And if I didn't have money to pay for his stuff, he'd be dead right now. So having the money, you need it no matter what. It's like breathing, bro. Without money, you can't survive. So we're just saying, look, get as much money as possible so you can help your family. But as well, you know what? Get experiences too. Traveling, meeting with people. Without money, you can't do much in this world. It's sad, but it's what it is.
I don't think the red pill is as materialistic as you're making it out to be.
It's super materialistic. But
Myron's not materialistic at all, for example.
He's opposite.
Yeah. So
I'm not even that materialistic.
I was gonna say, my thing is, I've always heard this quote, and I love to quote it. It's money doesn't buy happiness, but it's a damn good down payment. And what I mean by that is, for us, when we talk about money and becoming successful, we always say, you got to get in shape. You got to get your money up, and then you got to understand female nature so that you can become a complete package, not to get women, but so that women are a byproduct of your success, so that you project yourself in the world in a certain way. And we're really big on guys having like a purpose, because if you have a purpose, then you're going to, every purpose, you have a direction. And when you have a direction, you have a destination. When you have a destination, you have something to work towards. So my thing is, I always tell guys, your value is not determined by the amount of girls you can get. Your value is determined by how much value do you create for the world. And then the women are going to be attracted to that. So we tell guys like, yo, don't chase girls, chase success. And then the girls will follow after that. Right. So that's one thing. And then like, my thing also is that me, myself, I'm a hardcore minimalist. I mean, I just brought back my 2002 Honda. I don't really own anything nice except for like one Rolex that's a plain Jane. I don't spend really any money except for like in the studio and then my real estate investments. But I think it's important for guys to have the capability to have these experiences you're talking about. So I agree with you 100% that life is built upon experiences, not materialistic things. Now, for some people, those experiences are centered around material things. It depends on the person. But my thing is, I look at it like you need to have that money so that you have the capability to provide those experiences in the first place. And I know what you're saying, like with Tate and everything else like that, that he might not be a good example because it's hollow. He's telling guys get Bugattis or whatever. So I see your perspective on it. But what I would say is that if he teaches a guy how to make money, right, and that guy just needed a kick in the ass to tell him, hey, get out there, make some money, start a side hustle, etc. Well, then that person could decide what they want to do with the money, because everyone makes money for different motivations. Some people do it for financial freedom. Some do it to flex. Some people do it to buy clothes or whatever it may be. And I think materialistic things in general are stupid. But if it makes them happy, even for temporary, then hey, man, do what you want to do. But I think it's important to have that money so you have the opportunity. It's a down payment towards that happiness to some degree is my thing. But I'm a big firm believer that you make the money not for girls, but so that you can go ahead and walk away from girls if they do some bullshit. It gives you an extra air of confidence because, competence leads to accomplishments, which then leads to confidence. And that's the end product a lot of times for making the money. So I want the end product from making the money, not necessarily making the money to chase after the girls. If that makes sense.
Sure. And I guess we'll probably get into more of this in later topics.
Yeah.
If that is the case, I think that's a good message, right? The goal isn't to get certain things, it's to build yourself up to a position that those things come to you naturally. That's what you
absolutely
want.
That's
right?
what we say.
And it's a better way to get those things too, because then you really deserve them, you really earn them, and you're going to keep them because you're not playing stupid games to get a hold of them. I do agree with that. And like, I think that there are things you can spend money on to get good experiences, right?
Yeah.
So you guys have been a podcast for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
You have an amazing studio. You've had a lot of success. Like every dollar that you pour into this is a sense of fulfillment, right? You're not just buying shit to have shit, right? But you're like actively improving on something that I imagine you guys both probably feel, everybody in here probably feels really strongly about. So that's cool. I support that. I think that's a good idea. But you got to admit, when you look at like the plethora, especially around the Tate stuff, when I see all of the advertising for the red pill stuff, it doesn't feel like I hear about that chasing of fulfillment very much. It all feels very materialistic.
One thing Tate always says that a dork who gets rich, like money just amplifies what you have. So a dork that gets super rich, that's why Bill Gates' wife ends up leaving and take half his money. Because you're just a dork with a bunch of money. It doesn't make you a better man to have a shit ton of money. You need to be a better man overall, or else you're just a rich dork and everybody looks down at you.
But then the only worry is when you're tracking the metric, like, are you a better man because you have money? Or like you were saying, do you get more money because you end up being a better man? And the second one I think is okay. There are ways you can improve yourself to improve your life to get more money. But if the goal is the money, that's always going to be the goal. And when you attain it, like, you're going to be lost.
I think foundationally, if your drive is going to be a set of money, you're going to win, because at that point, you're right. For example, we have a goal board in our rooms, at least in my room. And when I hit each goal, it's like, okay, cool, I feel happy. But then I'm like, what's next? If you hit all your goals, then what do you do? So in that sense, I get what you're saying. But if you're coming from it, you know what? I enjoy the journey to get to where I'm at. Then it makes sense.
Yeah. Another thing too is why I tell guys all the time, like, I've went on a whole huge rant on this as far as like guys like attributing their value to their notch count or getting girls, is that it's a fleeting win, because once you hit, let's say 50 girls, oh, now I need 100. Once you hit 100, now I need 200, and then you're never going to be satisfied, because you're always going to want more girls. You're like, I always say the male thirst for, sexuality from women is insatiable. You're always going to want more and more girls. So the only way that you can really satisfy that like drive to conquer is through accomplishing things and then letting women be the byproduct. Because if you're going to go ahead and chase after women, you're going to be a very angry, bitter guy, because you're going to be dealing. Chicks are fickle and flaky from the rip. That's just how they are. They're emotionally erratic creatures. So I always tell guys, you go after the success, because at least that's in your control, and then the girls are going to come after. I always use Drake as an example, right? So when Drake comes here to Miami, right?
Drake.
What he'll do is he'll have a party, right? And he'll have like 50 to 100 girls show up, and he doesn't pay none of them attention, even though all of them are trying to go talk to him, right? And that's a perfect example, right? Obviously, like on a higher scale, right? But my thing is, I want guys to have that mindset where you're so successful that your work speaks for itself, and then girls want to get to come and meet you because he's already created value to the world, and the byproduct of that is the women naturally coming to him. So I want guys to strive to be at that level, whether you're the top guy at your firm, you're the top guy on YouTube, you're the top guy in your office, whatever it may be. Like if you look at like sales, right? Like people that work in sales, a lot of times the top salesman guy gets a bunch of the chicks, and it comes from like women naturally being attracted to dominance hierarchy. So my thing is, be the best guy that you can be, and then the women are going to come as a part of that. But when you chase after ass all day, which a lot of guys do, that's where you get that hollowed out feeling that you're talking about, which I agree with. And I've said that explicitly many times. You got to become the best version of yourself, and that comes from going to the gym, making money, and then becoming that guy. Because the other thing too that Sneako was saying, as far as like, these guys that are like losers that make money quickly, maybe they just, hedged on a good ass coin and then they made the money and they blew up.
Dorks.
They didn't learn. They didn't get the discipline,
the hardship of getting it.
Yeah, and they didn't go through the trials and errors of like becoming that guy. Like anyone ever play Pokemon? You do the fucking rare candy trick where you get like 99 rare candy, and you take 2 Pokemon. You take one that's a level like 5, another one level 5. You train one by going to the Elite Four multiple times, having him get his ass whooped or whatever it may be, and leveling up. And then you take the other Pokemon, you just give him rare candies to level 100. That Pokemon that you give the rare candy to, he's going to be weak as fuck. His attack is going to be weak. His defense is going to be weak. His special is going to be weak.
Dex.
It's going to be terrible when you look at him. But when you go to the other Pokemon that actually went through the fights and fought the Elite Four 120 times, his stats are going to be way better. So that's kind of what it's like with like fast money leads to slow problems. But if you get the money in a way where you had to build yourself up, then you're somebody. This is why women like, right? There's so many trust fund babies here in Miami, and I'm sure you guys know this.
Holy shit. I will say that because my wife wanted to move to Miami and she wanted to be down here. And I've never seen so many, I was talking to Sneako about this, but I might not see the same crowds of people, but I see so many people and I'm like, what do you guys do for work? I'm like, oh, never. I was like, we're in South Beach. This place is fucking expensive. Okay.
Yeah,
like one bedroom apartment is like $5,000 a month. What do you mean you don't fucking work?
I know.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, everybody here, like, it's coming from money.
Yeah, the New York money or South American money. So like those people, right? Like perfect example. Like I can't tell you how many girls have come on this pod and like deal with those guys, right? And they just tolerate them because they have money, because they didn't go through the work to become a man to make that money. So those guys are not like inherently attractive to them. They're just tolerating them because they have money.